Physics subject. Physics is an exciting subject that I learn in school. It is the study of matter, energy, and how they interact. Physics helps us understand how the world works. From the smallest particles to the largest galaxies, physics explains many things in the universe. I enjoy studying physics because it answers important questions about nature. One of the first things we learn in physics is about motion. Motion is how things move. When we walk, run, or drive, we are in motion. Physics helps us understand why things move and how fast they move. We use terms like speed, velocity, and acceleration to describe motion. Speed tells us how fast something is moving. Velocity tells us the speed and direction. Acceleration tells us how quickly something is changing its speed. In physics, we also learn about forces. A force is a push or a pull. Forces can make things move, stop, or change direction. Gravity is one of the most important forces. It pulls objects toward the Earth. That is why we don't float away into space. Sir Isaac Newton was a famous scientist who studied gravity. He discovered that all objects with mass have gravity. The more massive an object is, the stronger its gravity. Newton also came up with 3 important laws of motion. The first law is the law of inertia. It says that an object at rest will stay at rest unless a force acts on it. An object in motion will stay in motion unless a force stops it. The second law says that the force on an object equals its mass times its acceleration. This law helps us understand how things move when forces are applied. The third law says that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. This means that when we push something, it pushes back with the same force. Another exciting topic in physics is energy. Energy is the ability to do work. There are different forms of energy, like kinetic energy, which is the energy of motion, and potential energy, which is stored energy. For example, when you hold a ball in the air, it has potential energy. When you drop the ball, the potential energy changes into kinetic energy. Understanding energy is important because it helps us see how things work and move. In physics, we also study light and sound. Light is a form of energy that we can see. It travels in waves and moves very fast. The speed of light is about 300,000 kilometers per second. Light can travel through empty space, like from the sun to Earth. We also learn about how light reflects and refracts. Reflection is when light bounces off a surface, like a mirror. Refraction is when light bends as it passes through something, like water. Sound is another important topic in physics. Sound is also a wave, but it travels through air, water, or solids. We hear sound because vibrations reach our ears. The pitch of the sound depends on how fast the sound wave is vibrating. High-pitched sounds vibrate quickly, and low-pitched sounds vibrate slowly. Understanding sound waves helps us with many things like making music, talking on the phone, and studying animals. One of the most interesting topics in physics is electricity. Electricity is the flow of electric charges. It powers our homes, schools, and devices. We learn about electric circuits, which are paths that electricity can flow through. There are 2 types of electric circuits: series circuits and parallel circuits. In a series circuit, Electricity flows in one path. In a parallel circuit, electricity flows in multiple paths. Understanding how electricity works helps us use it safely and efficiently. Magnetism is another exciting part of physics. Magnets produce a force that can attract or repel certain metals. A magnetic field surrounds a magnet, and this field affects other magnets and metal objects nearby. The Earth itself is like a giant magnet with a magnetic field that protects us from harmful radiation from space. Understanding magnetism helps us in many ways, from using a compass to build electric motors. We also study heat in physics. Heat is a form of energy that makes things warm. Heat can move from one object to another in three ways: conduction, convection, and radiation. Conduction happens when heat moves through a solid, like when a metal spoon gets hot in a cup of tea. Convection happens when heat moves through liquids or gases, like when warm air rises in a room. Radiation happens when heat moves through empty space, like the heat we feel from the sun. Understanding heat helps us design better buildings, cars, and machines. Physics also teaches us about the universe. We learn about planets, stars, and galaxies. The study of space is called astronomy. Astronomy is important because it helps us understand where we come from and how the universe began. One of the most interesting ideas in astronomy is the Big Bang Theory. This theory says that the universe started from a tiny point and expanded to become what it is today. Studying space helps us understand our place in the universe. Physics is also important for understanding how machines work. Machines help us do work more easily. There are simple machines like levers, pulleys, and inclined planes, and complex machines like cars and airplanes. In physics class, we learn about how machines use forces and energy to make tasks easier. For example, a lever helps us lift heavy objects by changing the direction of the force. Understanding machines helps engineers create better tools and devices. In physics, we also learn about pressure. Pressure is the force applied to a surface. For example, when you press on a balloon, you create pressure. The more force you apply, the more the balloon stretches. Pressure is important in many areas, like in weather, where air pressure affects the movement of storms, and in technology, where pressure is used in hydraulic systems to lift heavy objects. Physics teaches us to think critically and solve problems. In class, we often conduct experiments to test our ideas. We use tools like rulers, stopwatches, and thermometers to measure things. By observing and recording data, we can learn more about how the world works. These experiments help us understand the laws of nature and develop new technologies. In conclusion, physics is a fascinating subject that explains many things in our everyday lives. It helps us understand motion, forces, energy, light, sound, electricity, magnetism, and much more. I enjoy studying physics because it answers questions about the world around me. Physics is important not only in science, but also in technology, engineering, and medicine. It helps us solve problems and make life better. I look forward to learning more about physics in the future.